Hello, everyone. It's Bethany Drew here in Valparaiso, Indiana with Stampin' Up. And I'm so excited to show you the Sweet as a Peach, or You're a Peach. It's a peachy sweet. And to be honest, it was a sweet. At first I thought, I don't need, as a lot of things that I end up purchasing. But it's just so cute. I'm going to show you some versatile ways to make them into like cherries, so you don't just have to use them for peaches if you're not a peach person. And I'm going to show you some fun ways to, because I've been trying to focus on how to use up your designer paper. If you guys are paper hoarders, there's some fun ways to use it up. So I'm going to show you some ways to use your designer paper. And we're going to do a fun fold as well. So we're going to have some fun today with You're a Peach Sweet. So I'm going to show you, sorry, my mind's still going because summer days are just, there's just an extra crazy. As I went back out to just find my ring, my boys were all like, blah, 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 asking me questions. I'm like, I can only focus on one thing. But let's turn around and I'm going to show you what's in the suite, and then you can buy everything separately too. So I love trying to be able to show you guys things that are like for beginner too. So we'll show you all kinds of fun. If you don't have a die cutting machine, there are fun ways to just use the stamp set too. And you don't need the dies, but they're really fun. And if you have the die cutting machine, that's why I'm just a sucker for all of these bundles that match with dies, because they're awesome. So let's see just a tiny glimpse of the fun that you can have with You're a Peach Sweet. So let me turn around. And when you come on, just say hello. Sorry, I didn't get a clean sheet of designer paper or grid paper. If you can still see, I was using this as my stamping off here too. The drewdaily.stampinup.net is my website, and then there's the host code right there, 4XMPD6H2. And if you do order now through the end of June using this host code, I'm going to close out the last day of June. And you share just one of my videos. If you share more, that's awesome. I appreciate it. That's how we can reach out and I can find new customers. So I thank you and love you for that. And it makes me happy. But if you use this host code and you share one of my videos or more, I will send you a thank you card along with a little sampler of some of our celebration paper. And I'll cut it up in already like sizes that will fit right on the front of a card. So it'll be 4 inches by 5 1/4 size pieces. So you can slap it right on the front of a card. And just a teaser, here's just the top sheet. And you'll, anyone who orders will get a sampler of like each design. So the celebration paper was awesome. It's so pretty. That's why I have extra. I earned a lot of it. So I want to share with those of you who helped me out. So thank you. So real quick, in the catalog, in our new annual catalog on page 60, is the first page that shows you the You're a Peach Sweet. And another reason I guess that I got this, not just the dies, but they are just, Stampin' Up's getting so good about the paper that they are making, and it's just awesome. I love the designs and the kind of the watercolor, like the watercolor stripes there, that's paper. It's just paper. I love it. So that's part of what drew me into the suite as well. Okay, and what comes in the suite are these cute little jars, which I'll show you the size of them. You get 6 jars, I believe, yeah, in your box. And they're perfect for a little gift. Like I know my mother-in-law makes homemade jams, so you could definitely use these for little homemade jam gifts. They could be little favors. You could fill them with old chocolates. This looks like it has different jam and honey in it. Our CEO, Sarah Douglas, also showed how to make little like bath salts and use that as a gift. That could be like a shower gift or something too. So I have not gotten to decorating the little jars, but they're a decent size. It's almost like a baby food jar size jar, I would say. And a little silver lid. So I've seen a lot of people just covering the lid, and that looks just cute with the designer paper. Some people making little belly bands around the side of the jars. But like I said, it comes in a box of 6 of them, and they're really cute size. So what does come in the suite? And the suites, I love Stampin' Up! Is coming out with just more affordable suites, because this whole suite, if you love everything, is only $57.25. And remember, if you order $50 with me, you get on my 50/50 board. I just drew a couple winners a couple weeks ago who just won $25 worth of free merchandise for me. So yay. But in this suite, you get the bundle, so that would be the stamp set, all of these sentiments and stamps, and all the dies. So you get a bunch of dies that match and cut out all these pieces. You also get the designer paper, so a whole pack of designer paper, and those mini jam jars. So that you get all of that together for just $57.25. That is an awesome deal, and the fact that it all coordinates is just so cool. So that's your peach. I'll show you here. Here's the majority of the dies that you can get with this bundle. So they even cut out these little flowers and stuff, which I haven't even gotten to yet. Hey, Teresa, did you find me? I think you're on there. Because you just commented, can't find you on my video. I hope you're finding me. I'm not sure why it's been harder for some people to find me. That's interesting. I should look into that. I'm not sure why. Maybe I should start tagging those of you who watch me on a regular basis, but I hope you end up finding me. That's interesting. Okay, so moving on. I just wanted to show you what one of my club members, they came over, this was our June club, and this was the very first thing I made for my awesome club members to put together. So I always pre-cut a card for them to put together, and then this is the club that they bring either paper pumpkin or a kit or something to put together on their own, because I like to encourage you to use your stuff. And I've made a lot of cards like this where you cut your card base. You cut it like normal, but then you trim off, after you've scored it, you trim off at an inch and a half. And then you just pretty much tape on the designer paper, because then that shows off both cute sides. And then I just stamped your as, and then inside sweet as a peach. And that's so cute. Oh my goodness. Oh, Teresa and Chris, I hope you guys find me. So that's, let me just show you the designs because they're so pretty. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here's some of the paper and the designs. So some fun watercolory looking flowers and then green background. Similar look, but a little bit different color. So there's no blue in this one, and then blue stripes on the other side. This one that I used with my card with the blue polka dots, love it. And then these watercolored stripes and little blue flowers. And the peaches, and then polka dots. Love it. Love the designs in this designer paper. So again, the paper is often a deciding factor for me too, if I want to get the whole suite. All right, so I haven't decorated these yet. I was going to, and I decided to actually get some sleep rather than stay up till 2 in the morning, like I normally do before my live video. But I did want to still show you how to put together a box, and maybe I'll still do like a simple one when I show you how to assemble this box. Now, I still kept my, I have a punch board that makes little bags too, which is awesome. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of that. But I did want to still show you a pretty easy way to make a little box, because I think I used my punch board actually to make those 2 little holes in there. So we'll get my paper trimmer. And this is an open-ended bag, so there's no top on there. And I've just got a 6x12 sheet. So this is, again, if you are a paper hoarder and you love hanging onto your paper, start cutting into it. I want to encourage you to make some fun things. So this is how to make an open-ended bag. So when you've got the long side up against here, we're going to score at 1.5. We're going to score a few places here. 1.5, 5.5, and I got to open up my arm here. Move it out to 7.5. Oh no, sorry, 7. Make sure to follow your scores. 7 inches, and then 11. So there's a 1 inch on the end. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this, and the whole bottom is just going to be at 1.5. So 1.5 all the way up and down the long side there. Okay. Now it's some simple trimming. We're going to cut all the scored ends because this is the bottom of the box, okay? So anywhere you see score marks here, we're going to fold those in. One of these, I don't think we need. In fact, I did the more simple side here. I did the flowers on the inside and polka dots on the outside. And I think I'm gonna, oh no. All right, well, I'm gonna have to go, I guess it doesn't really, but no, they do kind of look upside down. Okay, so this is learned from my mistake, because we're gonna go with the polka dots on the outside because the peaches look kind of upside down. So again, learn from my mistake. If you want it to look like the peaches are up and down, you got to make sure you put the bottom on the right side, and I scored the wrong side to put my bottom. So we're just gonna have a cute blue box, which is okay. But darn it, with the cute little peach design, I was gonna show how simple it is to make just put like a saying on there. Okay. Now this one I'm gonna cut all the way off. So the skinniest little edge, I'm cutting all the way off. The rest of them we can leave. You can leave them like this, or you can trim them a little bit so they don't get stuck. So just the smaller ones, the smaller little squares, I'm just tapering the edges just a little bit. That is not necessary to do, but you can. You don't want to taper these though, because they're like literally the bottom of the box. What? Are you going to ask a brother to come with you? Okay. It has been so beautiful lately, hasn't it? These cool summer days have been amazing. One of my sons was just asking if he could go on a bike ride. I'm loving these 70-degree days. Okay, so after you've trimmed all those places, so again, this is a 6x12 sheet, in case you're just coming on now. 6x12 sheet. when I had the long side up against the ruler, I scored at 1.5, 5.5, 7, and 11. Okay? And then you just cut the bottom, or then you score the, when you have the short side up against it, you score at 1.5 inches, because that's your bottom. And then we're just cutting there. Because then all you really have to do is, I would put this in first, so I'm going to put tape on the shorter side, because that's the side you kind of want to tuck in, because you want this the side that is wider to be on the outside. I'm just going to line that up, make sure it's straight. Okay. Now, because this is the open-ended seam, that I want that to be the back of the box. So I'm also going to tuck in the sides, these two little sides, and I want then to tuck this around, so that's on the back too. Even though that's the bottom, it's nice to have all the kind of open seams be towards the back. So I'm going to fold that over on the bottom of the box. What? Okay. Okay, and there you have an open-end box. Now, to make the little folds and punches, if you have just a little hole punch, you can use something like that. If you wanted to just do one punch, now I'm just taking the sides and pinching the sides, okay? So I didn't do any extra score or anything. I'm just pinching the sides, so it can close. And then you could staple it or punch holes. We also have I could probably just punch one hole if I put this in all the way up against the edges and center it. This gives it just one like tag hole. Okay, so that would be one way to just do one little closure there, that cute little tag oval. So that's our triple corner punch. One of them is not a corner, one of them's just that tag in. So that's another way to use it. I did use my, like I told you, I used my gift bag punch board to make those two holes. So a lot of ways to make the top closure. And then you could just use coordinating colors. We've got, I would probably use this pale papaya ribbon and make my peaches in pale papaya, and this is pretty long. I probably don't need this much ribbon. Because ribbon is such a fun way to put some closure on a bag. And then that's pretty easy to untie too. Isn't that cute? You really wouldn't even have to add anything. I mean, the designer paper alone is just so cute. And this is the front. So again, you want to pay attention to where your seams, my back seams, are over here. And so I would want to turn this way. And if I was going to add something on here, hey Teresa, I'm sorry you had a hard time finding me. I saw your question on my live video, so I'm confused as to why you didn't see me. So confusing. I hope Chris isn't having the same problem trying to find me. Okay, so you could leave this as is if you wanted, or you could add a little circle. Say you wanted to add a little peach, so you could add just a little sentiment on here. If you wanted to keep it really simple, You could stamp the peaches. They probably wouldn't fit on here. Or just have a peachy day, but because there's still peaches on the inside of the bag here. Sweet as a peach. That's cute too, sweet as a peach. If you wanted to say thank you to someone, bags are awesome. And I would probably just use the pale papaya here. Stamp down sweet as a peach. And then if you wanted to dazzle it a little bit more, but if you wanted more than a saying, then you totally could you could cut out the peaches and have those behind your sentiment. So depending on how special the person is you're giving a gift to. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, even just adding the sweet as the peach there and having it closed with a ribbon, it's just so cute. And it's a pretty easy bag to make. Okay, so I will put these measurements out on my page after my video is done too. Okay, in case you missed that, I will put those out. So that's one way. Make sure when you get your paper, use it. Such a cute way to make little bags that could totally fit quite a bit of stuff in there. So that's a little gift bag. Next I'll do the fun fold card because that's really cute. I got this fun fold card idea from Rhonda Wade. I think she's already up to like 2 million in sales, and she has an assistant who helps her with, she has a club create or something and has like hundreds of people who order her club and I don't know, probably thousands of customers, but I just loved this fun fold. Sometimes it's fun to do something different than just your normal opening of a card. And so this card has a little belly band that can slide back on and off of your card. And then it has the little triangles that you make. So I'm going to show you how to make this because it's just so cute. And then I did some extra flowers and stuff on the inside for a fun little happy birthday. So for someone special that you love, and maybe even a fellow, it's always like fun, a fellow card maker, to give them something that's like a fun fold, not just your average card, right? Okay. So let's show you how to do that. Now I wanted to show you with the Whisper White piece, you're not going to get 2 cards out of it, but that's okay. You still can use all the extra piece. Okay, so because this is not our thick white, this is our basic white cardstock, and you need 5 1/4 by 11. Okay, so you need to start with a 5 1/4 by 11 piece of white cardstock. So this is what gets cut off. This much gets cut off, so this isn't going to make a whole card. But I did use this excess white to cut out both of my stitched rectangles that I'm going to use. And then there's extra paper in case I need to stamp some more on there. Because a lot of times when you're stamping stuff, you stamp it right on white. Yes, honey?
Can I have some of my white on them?
Sure. Last piece, though, you already had one today, right?
No.
Oh. You had asked me earlier, and I said sure. So, now, I think I've told you almost every week, and here we are again. I'm using these scalloped rectangles, that these are my favorite dies. I keep coming back to them. So again, if you haven't gotten the contour dies, these are awesome. It matches with the color and contour stamp set. But even if you don't get the stamp set that coordinates all of these different stitching and scalloped rectangles, they layer awesome. They're perfect for cards and everything. So this size that I'm using is the 3rd biggest rectangle die. Okay, so that's in the contour dies. And so I'll be using 2 of those pieces. So one will go on the inside and one will be on the outside of the card. Okay, so first we want to get the white piece to go how we want it to go. All right, so when you take your your paper trimmer out, you just want to score at 3.5 inches on both sides. Okay, so 3.5 here, because 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7, right? So that leaves 4 inches in the center. 3.5. You know, sometimes I make you think. Okay, so we've got our scores at 3.5 and 3.5, and they'll fold in. However, we're going to cut these at an angle, okay? So it's not as hard as it looks. Let me show you what we do. So halfway, this is 5 1/4, right? 5 1/4, so 2.5 is half of 5. So I want to go 2 5/8. So 2.5 is right there. 1 more eighth is where I'm going to mark. Right here where I would cut or score, I'm going to make a little mark with my pencil, okay? Because that is the halfway mark. Now what we're going to do to make those these triangle cuts then is I'm just going to cut from where I marked on the pencil and then move it up to where I've scored it, okay? So pencil mark to where I've scored it. And now we're going to cut that off, okay? And these pieces can be used to stamp our extra peaches and that kind of thing. So don't just throw it away. Same thing, I'm going to take that pencil mark and cut to where it's scored. So cut that off. Okay, so that makes our little triangle. We'll do the same thing on this side now. Okay, so I'm finding 2.5 is easiest to find, and then just over 1 more eighth. Okay, so 2 5/8. I'm making a little mark there. And again, I'm gonna slide it down to where my score line is on the top and then shift it. Let me move this up so you can see the whole thing. Move this over to where my pencil mark is. Okay, so my pencil mark and my score are right on the lines that I'm cutting. And then one more time, my pencil mark and then my score. Okay, let me make sure that's on there. Pencil mark and the score. Ta-da! See, that wasn't too hard. Actually kind of fun, right? And then that gives you your fun fold and your card has that fun little triangle fold then. So take your bone folder, get those score lines good. Okay, now so that it is matted a little bit, I'm going to use just one piece that is 5 1/2 by, so 5 1/2, sorry, by 4 1/4. So that would be the size of your card, so it fits perfectly in an envelope. And that just helps mat your card so it's nice and pretty. So let's just add a little bit of Seal Plus on the back of the white, and we'll mat that down. You just want to make sure there's the same amount of space around the whole card here, so that fits in there nice. Okay, and then I'm going to use, I used the polka dotted in the other one, but I'm going to use the fun watercolor stripes on the inside of this one. So this I can put down right away, glue down with my Seal Plus, or you could use Tombow glue, whatever you want to use is fine. This designer paper is actually, so it's a little bit smaller, is 5 inches in width and by 3 3/4. Okay, so that it fits inside of this piece. Okay, so 5 by 3 3/4. All right, and then we've got 2 pieces here, and I'm going to show you one I'll do the inside of the card and one I'll do on the front. And on the inside of the card, I'm going to do I'm going to use, what do I want to use? This one I just used Calypso Coral. So maybe I'll do that. I'll show you. So this one I used Calypso Coral and I stamped off. Another card that I'm going to show you, I used Pale Papaya first, and then I sponged a little Calypso Coral on there. So there's a little bit of a difference there. But they're both fun. So I'm going to wait on the Pale Papaya here. Move that over. And I'll show you the fun of stamping off and then sponging a little. I have my little sponge dauber here. Thank you, Teresa. You're always so encouraging. Okay, so I'm inking it up in Calypso Coral, but I'm actually going to stamp it off first. Okay, so I'm stamping off, and then I'm going to, oh, it got a little, I'm gonna do that again because it got a little something on it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this down closer to the bottom of there. And then I'm going to use my scrap paper, and I'm going to stamp off again. I'll stamp off. See, I'm stamping off on, I have a foam mat under here. Sometimes it is helpful to stamp, hang on, let's try that again. I did want to show you, I'm distracting myself. I wanted to show you. Okay, so I stamped off, and then I'm going to take my sponge dauber and sponge the darker Calypso Coral just on one side here. So then this one will look a little bit darker than the one I stamped on the front. Okay, you see how that's then a little bit darker. It gives just a little bit more shading with that sponge dauber, adding a little bit more color. And not a huge difference, but it's kind of fun. That's where it's especially fun when you sponge. Like here I used Pale Papaya and sponged Calypso Coral. That gives it even a two-tone, which makes it even more fun. Okay, so I've stamped the peach down. Now I want to find the leaves here. And this gives the stem and the leaves. Now I could step it up if I wanted to, and I could use markers, but I think it looks cute enough just with the stem and the leaves being all green, which is fine. So I'm stamping this in Pear Pizzazz because that is one of our coordinating colors in the designer paper. And I'm going to stamp, sorry if I'm going too far down here. I keep forgetting that my foam mat is under here. All right, so I stamped the little leaves and the stem on that one. And then we'll cut one out. So I'll stamp some over here by the peach. And then on the inside of my flowers, or on the inside, my rectangle that I will put on the inside, I'm gonna do the flowers in the corner. And again, I will stamp off first. Stamp off. I'll put those up in the corner. Aren't those so pretty? So the flowers are fun too. Again, just add a little extra. And again, then you don't have to use them just as peaches. Because the stamp set has flowers too. Okay, I'm trying to think, do I need anything else that I'm going to cut out? Just that and that. I don't think so. What I did with my other one too, with my other card, is I did stamp my flowers on the inside. I did stamp them off first. So those are dark. That's okay. There. Kind of fun to get a few flowers on the inside of that card. So when they open up those plain white and then, wow! Now the other cool thing with this is this leaf stamp here matches with the three peaches or the flowers. Okay, now it's a little bit tricky to line them up, but you can find it. And what I do too is I look, the way that the leaves are showing is kind of the way that it matches up with the flowers and the peaches. So when I find my flowers look like, see, the little one is off to the right, and then the smallest one is off to the right, is when I know that it's going to match up. Then you just kind of, you ink it up and you hope for the best. So you see how my little flower is to the left here. So I'm going to hold my leaves the way that it looks like on the stamp set there. And then I can line this up so that it matches with those flowers. Okay, so I'm inking it up in Pear Pizzazz is this one. And in this one, you don't see the small one. It's off to the side. And I'm not gonna do both. I just did one leaf and paired it with one. So you don't need a ton of leaves in there. So I just did one of them that way to match it up. But just to show you, you know, kind of always look back at your stamp case, and that's the way it should look and fall. And those are the way that those peaches and the flowers should kind of face when you're trying to see how they line up. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, while I have my Pear Pizzazz still open, I'm going to just stamp Happy Birthday on the inside in my green. Then there's still room for a little note there, and I stamped that a little crooked, but that's okay. It's made with love, right? Who is even going to notice when it's made a little crooked when it's so cute and peachy? All right? Now there's always ways to add more bling and more fun if you have, we've got sequins. Okay, see, now that would have been a blunder if I put it down upside down. Okay, so I'm centering this. So it says Happy Birthday in there, and you could still write your little message. You could even write a little bit more on the one of the triangles pieces too. And then let's bring out our little mini, and we'll cut out the peach real quick. My mini is just so much easier to bring out onto my desk, so I love our mini. And I try to keep one of my plates a cutting plate, and my top plate I try to keep nice. So just like in my big one, the little baby shot, I do the same thing there. Okay, so I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna put down the leaves and the peach. Line those up around where they go. If it makes you nervous, you can always use washi tape to like hold it down if you don't want it to move. Or you just hope for the best and roll it through. Okay, now I just remembered that it works better to have your top one go in first. Where with the bigger one, you can keep it even. The little mini one, it's actually, it goes through better when the pieces are a little bit uneven, if that makes sense, when you layer them. The top one kind of went in first, if that makes sense. Okay, so I just cut out the little peach and the leaves with my little mini boss. Thank you, mini boss. Put those back on my magnetic sheet there so I don't lose them. And see, I still have extra piece from that piece that I'd cut off. I still got extra that I can do. All right, now I can add my peach. And this is where sometimes, if it gets a little off, you don't have to do this, but if you're really concerned about it, and I still like the white to be a little bit more even, you can just take your little paper snips and kind of just make that a little closer. And no one will ever know. See, this one was a little off too. So I'm just gonna make my white edge a little bit thinner. And again, no one will have to know, except you guys. All right, so now we can just layer this peach over the other peach. And they're just so cute, aren't they? I do like peaches. Although, funny story, my Uncle Bud, I don't think I've ever really talked about my Uncle Bud on my videos, but I love him so much. He's awesome. But he's a little bit like, what's that TV show? The Monk. I don't know if any of you have ever seen The Monk, but my Uncle Bud is kind of like that. We all joke that he's the monk. But peaches are one thing that like kind of give him the willies because it's got fuzzy skin. So he doesn't even like people talking about peaches. It's actually kind of funny. But I try not to tease him about it. Okay, so on the top here, I'm going to use my Calypso Coral full strength here. And it says, have a peachy day. And how cute is that? So I can fit that right at the top. Have a peachy day. So cute. I love the sayings, sweet as a peach and all that fun. Okay, now you could take another piece of Calypso Coral and mat this piece too on there, but what I did was I just sponged. So I took my, I should have left my Calypso Coral open here. I don't know, Teresa, Chris, do you guys like peaches? I will say I'm not a huge fan of the fuzzy skin either, but I do love peaches. Like in a mixed fruit salad and everything. I love peaches. I'm getting the corners just a little bit more, but maybe I should have done that before I added my peaches, but hey, we'll just add some sponging around the peach too. So I'm just scraping the edges, as you can see, of the scallops. And I'm kind of getting the corners a little bit more. And that, voila, gives you a more defined border since it's against the white. Okay, now simple, easy peasy, peachy squeezy. See what I did there? I'm going to use these same flowers. So this is just a 1.5 by 12 inch strip. So if you have extra paper, this is 1.5 inch. You're not going to use all of it, but kind of center it here. And I'm trying not to bend it too tight to the card. You want it to be able to slide up and down pretty easily, but you don't want to have it so loose it doesn't stay on either. So, you know. So I'm going to trim just a little bit, a little rectangle off. It doesn't matter how straight it is because we're going to cover that up anyhow. And we're going to put some adhesive. So I'm just using my Seal Plus. Make sure that that's straight up against itself here. And there, you've got a little belly band. And then all we have to do is put some adhesive right on the belly band. And you could either pop it up with dimensionals or use Seal Plus, but I think I'm gonna pop it up with dimensionals. And I'm gonna put the dimensionals right on the belly band, so I don't put it too high or low, because you just want those dimensionals to stick on the belly band, not on the rest of the card, so it will still slide. So that's why I'm doing that. Now I can just stick that on, and if you notice, it will line up pretty perfectly with our other scalloped rectangles. So you almost, if you want it to overlap just right, just watch that that's there. And then it slides right off. And they can slide it down and open it up, and you can have a sweet message in there. Isn't that cute? So that's a fun fold. Hope you enjoyed that one. Again, I got that idea from Rhonda Wade. She has a lot of cute different ideas. And again, we all of us who are demonstrators get our ideas and our inspiration from somewhere and something and someone else. That's what I love about the art of card making, is if you make a card like this, that's awesome. That makes me happy. I love when you copy and share things that I have shown you, because that's what it's about. It's about sharing what we love and doing these things and spreading smiles and love. So, and I love those of you guys who make projects or get inspired by something I do and make something even totally different. But post your pictures and tag me in it too, because that just makes me happy. When the fact that I just inspired you to make something, that just makes me really happy. So that's my goal, and I love to see those of you guys inspired by one of my videos and doing stuff. So always feel free to tag me when you've made a card and I've inspired something that you did in it. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to use the blue stripes, and look at this. I'm going to show you how to make cherries. Yes, I was so excited when I saw on Pinterest. Again, this is what I love about when I see ways to use it more than just peaches. You know, it's called the peach sweet, but I love cherries too. Any of you guys go cherry picking? Cherries are awesome, and they are sweet too, and they are summery as well. So you could make a whole eclectic thing. So I'm just popping these cherries up on the designer paper with the blue stripes, because I love how blue and red look together. Isn't that so pretty? Let me cut a card base real quick. Okay, I like trimming my, or I like scoring when I use thick white. 4 1/4. I'll probably end up using this other one, so I'm just going to score that one too. All right. I know I've got another card to show you too, so hang in there. I just wanted to show you real quick how easily you can make the cherry card here. So I know it's somewhat sad that you're covering up all these pretty flowers. Oh, am I running out? There we go. If you really wanted to, you could make a little window, cut a window out of the front. But because I'm doing cherries and it's totally different than the colors of the flowers, we're just gonna cover them up. And then, see if I can find my white. Because I'm thinking I want to add, let's see, there's a lot of cute little sayings. There's one, I hope your day is, and to a, I think I'll say to a sweet friend. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab some extra black cardstock, and I'm gonna stamp Ink Up to a Sweet Friend in my white. Stamp it on the black. Where did my... Remember, for $8 you can get these chamois. They're awesome to clean your stamps. You don't get any fuzz or lint on them. It's awesome. I'm going to trim this real thin. And we'll just show how easy it is to make a card with these cherries. How fun. Let's see. I want to put it over the cherries or over the green. Or above. I don't know. What do you think? I think I actually like it right over the cherries. Usually what you're thinking, Teresa, is always like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So, what are you thinking, Teresa? Over the green, you think? See, I couldn't decide, but you think over the green stem? All right, I'll listen to my sweet friend, Teresa, and put it over the stem. To a sweet friend. How fun. Okay, now I did want to just show you real quick. I'm not going to make a whole nother card since I just popped that up. That was so fast and easy, right? Just to show you, the pieces were from the peach dies, okay? So this little branch looking die, all I did was trim off some of the branchy pieces, okay? And I cut this off. And then I trimmed that off as well. Okay, so that gave you the little cherry stem, pretty much. And then there are smaller little leaves. So I used this little double leaf there. And that's what I hung on the top of my cherry stem. Okay, now if you wanted to cut it a little bit lower too, you can kind of tweak and play with that. And then the peaches, obviously I stamped 3 of them, but these are the peaches, but when you stamp them in red, they look like cherries. Okay, so that's how I made the little cherry stem. So it wasn't too hard. And how fun is that, to a sweet friend? So if you have friends who love cherries, you can use the peach sweet to do that too. So fun. And I'm sure there's a way to use the extra stuff that you trimmed off, but I'm throwing it. Okay, so I wanted to show you the cherries. I showed you the special fold. I did the bag. Okay, I also wanted to just show some different... Let me move this. This is what I'll do. That's kind of what I wanted to do there. Okay, now I've got the foam pad under this. Because I'm pretty sure it was better for me to line up the flowers, or do the flowers first and then line up the leaves. Although, you know what? I just changed my mind. I'm going to make just a pattern and I'm going to use purple. So again, we're mixing up the colors. Thank you, Teresa. I really hope Chris isn't having a hard time finding me. Okay, so now with just the stamp set, we're going to make a little bit of like our own designer paper. So I am stamping the leaves first just because the leaves are a little bit bigger and I didn't know if I stamped the flowers first, that might have messed up where, but I might have just messed it up anyhow. So we'll see. I'm not sure which is better, to do the leaves first or the flowers first, but I think it's probably better to do the leaves first when you're gonna do a whole background here. So let's see. Okay, again, remember I told you when you're looking at your stamp set, the smallest flower is on the right. So then you just find where it lines up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Smallest flower is on the right. Smallest flower is on the right. So yeah, I think that works better to just stamp the leaves first when you're gonna cover a whole background. Isn't that pretty? So the green I used on this one, so we're straying away from the designer paper because there isn't any purple in the designer paper. So this is Fresh Freesia, is the purple, and the green on this, I used the Soft Succulent. So these are two of our new in colors. So if you want to mix it up, always bring out your new colors. And that can be fun. And then if you want to, let's see. Then I could just add some kind of saying in the center. I might even sponge, well, no. I think on this card I might use Fresh Freesia for the whole background of the card. So I changed my mind. I don't want to use white. Yeah, that looks pretty with the Fresh Freesia in the back, doesn't it? So pretty. And again, then I could just add a sentiment on there. And I don't know what I want to say right now, but I just wanted to show you using different colors and that this peach set has these flowers, so you don't have to be using the peach stuff all the time. So we've got flowers, we've got cherries, and the peach one. Now I did want to show you, I mean, I kind of showed you sponging after you've stamped, but let's just put together one more card. Oh, and that's where I did want to use this card base. All right, I really love these stripes. They're so fun. And there is a die that actually cuts out these leaves too, which is fun. Okay, now I've already stamped this peach. Let me get the leaves for it too. Where are all the leaves? I'm gonna stamp it up in the Pear Pizzazz. Wait, I'm gonna do it over here. Okay. I love the watercolor look of it. So even if it doesn't stamp perfectly, it's not on you. That's just the way the watercolor look. And if it, you know, if some of it doesn't come off, you're like, it doesn't matter because you can just say it's supposed to look like that. It's watercolor. Which is a fun excuse. All right, so I'm bringing out my little mini boss again. We're gonna go the other way here. I'm gonna flip it. And I'm gonna get my dies that match. And you see how one of the dies is a little bit pointier. And so that's where you see one of the peaches is a little bit more pointy. So that's how I can line up those three. I just kind of look for that pointy one. And then the bigger leaves, I can cut those out together. Okay, and then I want my top cutting pad to go first. All right. That's what kind of helps it grab it at first, and then it cuts it together. It's just so cute. The mini boss. Let me show you. I'm bringing it over here just because you can see better over here. So my 3 little peaches, aren't they so cute? We'll take those off the leaves, and let's just cut out this one more peach. I think that's all I'll need to cut out for this card then. But I'll show you some other fun ways to save on your cardstock or your designer paper. All right, we're cutting out the big peach with our little mini. And the fun thing too, this thing folds up. It's just so cute. It's a lot easier to take with me on like my scrapbooking events and stuff. All right, I'm gonna trim just a little bit. I don't know, when I eyeball putting my die over this one, it seems to be just a little further over to the right. Again, no one probably would care, but all right. So now I've got all my pieces, my little peaches, my leaves, my big peach. I stamped the flowers twice in pale papaya over here. And then I also wanted to show you that right out of the designer paper is what I cut out the leaves out of. Okay, so instead of cutting out a separate piece, I just use this because it's gonna get covered anyhow, right? So why not? So this is gonna go over actually, I'm not gonna glue that down yet because I think I wanna tie some ribbon, the pale papaya ribbon over it. So first we're gonna put some glue down. I think I can glue this down. Maybe I wanna stamp first. Let's see, sweet as a peach or have a peachy day. I like to have a peachy day. We're gonna stamp the peachy day down here before I glue it down. I think I saw a card similar to this on Pinterest, so it's not a complete steal, but it's really similar because it was so cute and I loved the stripe. Putting a little bit of glue there. Do I want my stripe down first? Yes, I think I do. You know what? I should not do my Seal Plus on the foam strips. I feel like that makes it roll a little bit more or worse. Okay, I'm gonna put this down first actually. Just change my mind, because I can. So I'm gonna tape my stripes down. And then we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals. And then I'll tie the whole thing around with ribbon. You know, some of it's just figuring it out as you go, right? Oops. I did not want to throw those dimensionals in the garbage. Okay, so this white piece is going to go on with dimensionals. Let me get all those off. Have any of you guys gone cherry picking or strawberry picking? Blueberries are coming up in July. I don't know, summertime is just fun with fruit, isn't it? All right. Now, before I put this on the card base, I did want to tie some ribbon around, and I'm going to use Pale Papaya again. My Pale Papaya ribbon is getting a lot of use today. I love these ribbons come in all the colors, so, or all the new in colors, not all the colors. So you can get it in the evening evergreen, the soft succulent, the fresh freesia. It's very pretty. Yes, we do have strawberries in our garden too, so we don't have to go picking for strawberries, thank goodness, because strawberries can get expensive, can't they? So I'm going to tie a little bow right above Have a Peachy Day. You know, if you have a hard time making bows, you can also tie it in a knot first. Sometimes it's like, yeah, tying the knot even is a little bit of work, isn't it? But once you've tied the knot, it's you're not sliding around as much here. All right, now I'm going to trim off my ribbon there. Make those bow ears as big as I want them to be. I like them to be mostly even, but no big deal if they go a little crazy. We'll trim those a little shorter. There. Isn't that ribbon so pretty? I love this ribbon. And what is it? It's an open weave ribbon. It's just so pretty how sheer it is, and then it's got that like satiny edge to it. Okay, so now I could either tape this down or do some dimensionals, which I'm gonna do dimensionals. Because guys, I love dimensionals. Who are we kidding? Dimensionals are just the easiest, and they make a little pop. And when you're not using too many like rhinestones or anything, you can put as many layers of dimensionals as you want. All right, now we'll put this on the card base. So I'm just using a white, the thick white for the card base. So adorable. And it looks cute even just with the flowers, right guys? I mean, and we haven't even added the peaches. It's just about to get way cuter. Okay, so Let's see, where do I want my peach and where do I want my peaches? That's right above there. So I think I'll put my peach, the big peach, over here. And let's add, we'll even sponge all the way around the edge of it, so it doesn't really have any white edge, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Yes, Teresa, you have all the colors of the ribbon. They are gorgeous. I love them. Okay, so this peach is going to go there. I'll put a little mini dimensional on the leaves. Pop that up there. So cute. And then where do I want the rest of my peaches? Do I want them here? And again, I'm going to go back to looking at, even though it really doesn't matter at all because you're placing them. But where do I put my case? Okay, so the pointy one is to the right of the leaves. All right. Again, not that it really matters, but we're gonna pop up the leaves first. I think I'll tuck them actually right behind the peach a little bit. So I'm going to put one little mini dimensional on each of like the, well, not all of them, but three places. Oh, I thought I had one in my hand. There we go. And I'm going to tuck these leaves kind of just behind the other peach, because I want to still see the flowers. Aren't these cute? Love all these dies and everything. So cute. Okay, back to my regular. Yes. Yes, we could, with all the fruit stuff we've got, we definitely could make a fruit salad. Definitely. I was going to make a card, but then I stopped because I get so excited, guys. I want to show you more and more and more. I just want to keep showing you. But I know, like, I gotta make supper too, and I gotta bring my son to his VBS practice. So, can't be here for 2 hours, unfortunately. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Tuck that under the little stem. That might work better than. Put that on there. Yeah, I think I like the peaches kind of tucked under there a little bit, so it looks like they're hanging from the stem. All right, so it says have a peachy day. And then we could also add, what are all the sentiments here? Thanks for being as, so that could be thank you. Thanks for being as sweet as a peach. You're as. Let's see, we've got little friend there. Thanks so much. I thought there was a let's celebrate you, but maybe I don't have that up. Look at that. Let's celebrate you. I did not have that out there. And we could put that on a little white banner. Let's use Calypso Coral. So I like these little small sayings are just fun because you can kind of add those anywhere and you can layer them right over your where you've been stamping. And we'll just trim this real thin again. And we'll put that somewhere in there. Let's celebrate you. Tuck that right in the midst of the peaches there. Let's celebrate you. Have a peachy day. So cute. Isn't that fun? So there's layering and using your designer paper, using little pieces. I stamped the leaves right on the designer paper and stepping it up a little bit. Yeah, you could do a totally basic one layered card if you don't want to use your dies, and you could just stamp the peaches. And you could make cherries too, I suppose. I mean, your fruit salad idea, Teresa. That sounds cute. So now I'm stamping this in the pale papaya, but I'm still going to use, where did my sponge dauber. So I'm stamping right over the pale papaya because the pale papaya is lighter. So you always want to start with a lighter color first and then sponge a darker color on the side or wherever you want to sponge. In the flowers, like it would be in the center of the flower. Okay. And then that gives it a two-tone kind of look. Isn't that fun? And then I could do a similar thing, but stamp it off first. Oh, that was Calypso Coral. There. Stamp it off first. So I get a little bit lighter one. And I'll still do a little bit of sponging. And there, I sponged it in a little bit different places. So fun. I'm telling you. I kind of wanted to, we have a little bit of a smaller, yeah, these little flowers. So when you're going to do one layer card, here's these little mini flowers. They're a great little make a background. Aren't they so cute? There. I stamped off on a couple of them, so you have the light ones too. So fun little mini ones. And finding my Pear Pizzazz. But you could use a different color too for the leaves. Just stamp that off. See, when I'm doing a one layer, don't forget, it doesn't have to be right on the paper. You can stamp off and it looks cute. Isn't that fun? And you could totally sponge around the edges if you wanted to make it look more antiqued, or you could emboss over the whole thing. So say I wanted to add happy birthday here, and I'll stamp it down in black. With my memento. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. So here's just an example of, I just real fast, I wanted to show you a super easy, fast card. And where did I put my other die cutting machine? That's a good question. Hang on. All right, which folder should I use? Should I use the tasteful texture, or this is like a stucco paint? I really should label all of them. They're both fun. This one would make it look a little bit more linen. This one is just really cool. I don't know. I picked the best peach. I picked you. That's cute, Teresa. I think I'm going to use this one. I use the tasteful texture like all the time. Okay. See, if you don't have a die cutting machine, you just would leave it and that's fine. And then you could lay it on a basic white. But this is the fun when you do have the die cutting machine and you have those cool embossing folders. You stamp it, it's super easy, and then you just run it through the embossing folder and it's got that extra texture to it now. It looks almost like there's stucco paint all over it. So cool. Somehow I knew you were going to say the texture one, Teresa, when I chose this one. Sometimes you choose the other one. That's what I love, though. We all have different styles and different likes, and they're all fun. All right. Well, just a little recap. I hope you enjoyed watching me make some creations with the You're a Peach suite. This was a fun suite, and one that I'm glad that I ended up getting it. From the designer paper to the dies and everything, it's so fun. And then, like I said, you can use totally colors that aren't in the designer paper and go with the flowers. You can go with the cherries and make cherries out of those peaches. So there's a lot of fun ways to change it up if you want. And then I showed you guys the special fancy fold. And here's Have a Peachy Day with 2 different kinds of designer paper in the background. So this one just slides right off and the person would open it this way. Happy birthday! And then they'd have a beautiful surprise on the inside. So fun. So that one comes with a little belly band and a different fold, which is fun. And then I showed you how to make just a simple box out of the designer paper too. And you could use whatever designer paper you have. This is from Hand Penned, and this is from the Sweet as a Peach designer paper. So just trying to get you guys to find ways to use, if you are paper hoarders, use that designer paper up. Find ways. So again, if you do order through June 30th, or I should say up until June 30th, at my website, thedrewdaily.stampinup.net, if you use this host code and you share at least one of my videos from June, you will get a thank you card with a sampler of some designer paper from Celebration. So use this host code. That's how I'll know that you want that gift. 4XMPD6H2 is the host code. And I will close that all out on the last day of June, on June 30th. So I think, what is next? Next week is still June, right? Yeah. It's the 16th today, right? But I can't believe we're already halfway through June. It's crazy, guys. So June is also another crazy month just because if you look in your mini catalog, it's the last month to get some things. Rider Range is going to be gone. The Pretty Perennials is going to be gone. There's a few beautiful things retiring. The kangaroos. There's some cute stuff. The snails. Oh my goodness, I'm so sad the snails are retiring. So if there's some cute things that you like, make sure you get that and order with this host code. At least $35 order, plus share one of my videos, and you'll get a free sampler of stuff from me. So thank you so much for watching. I so enjoy those of you who come and check me out live, and thank you for those of you who always come and check the replay too. You can ask questions anytime. I try to look back, the whole week after I do video to make sure someone hasn't asked me a question about something. So that's what I'm here for. I love to be here to answer your questions, to inspire you, and go send some hugs in the mail this week. I hope this has inspired you to get your stuff out and get inky and have fun and spread the love to people. So have a great day, guys. Love you, Teresa and Chris and Rhonda and Deb and Holly and Rachel and Amy, and I'm trying to think of the majority of the people who normally do come and check me out. Thank you so much. Sharing my video is just super helpful, and it makes me happy because I want to spread this love to more people. So love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.